Good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime Series with me, Kevin Britz, proudly powered by leadershipbydesign.co, leading the charge with insights, information, and ultimately effective results. Joining me in today's marketing and leadership segment, marketing and communications expert and co-host, Craig Pagely. How are you doing, Craig?
Kevin, I'm great. Yeah, thanks. Good to be chatting today. Our first show of March 2024. And of course, before you know it, we're going to be celebrating that we're into the second half of the year. It's just flying by.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last time we spoke. I think something's happening to our timelines, and the construct of time is changing, because it just feels like before you know it, you're in the new month, and you're in the next week or in the next hour, and you're like, what did I even do today?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't calendarize everything. I'm like, it'll feel like I did nothing, but I'm like, oh no, I did that and I did that and I did. So I try and keep track because it feels like I'm achieving something.
No, I have to have a calendar. On this project I'm on, there's so many meetings that you just have to, it's quite interesting because when you're sitting and you've got probably 12 hours of meeting and engagement, I set a 3-minute reminder on every hour on my phone. So 3 minutes before the next meeting starts, I'm getting ready to either shift from laptop onto the mobile device to pick up that meeting and exit the other. So I just got this, there may be 10 alarms running on any day, just as a reminder to move to the next meeting.
Craig, that just means you're very well versed at attention management.
Yeah, you have to. You just have
to.
The other thing that's really been working on this project for the last sort of 7 weeks is, if not even that long, is the power of a half-hour meeting.
Yes.
I actually get grumpy when people want an hour meeting in my diary now.
Yeah, because when everyone around the table or anyone on the other side of that screen knows that we have half an hour to get to what you're going to, like you say what you need to say, get it done, and like, cool, anything else, lacquer, cool, let's go.
And it's just exactly that, Kevin. That's why I'm calling it the power of the half-hour meeting, because it is just there's absolute intent and focus and delivery across multiple agencies and people, and some of them, there could be 7-8 people needing to present a piece in a meeting, but in a half-hour meeting, you leaving having achieved what so many people will take an entire damn hour to get through.
Yeah, and it also prefaces that there's urgency.
Yes.
Get what you're doing, and let's get on with it. And when you set out a nice long hour for it, and or an hour and a half or 2 hours, that, people just take their time and they start chatting about random stuff, and you kind of go, okay guys, can we just get to the point here? Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. But just on last week's conversation, I think it was such an absolute fascinating, wonderful conversation we had with Graham Codrington about the future. He's a futurist, and sharing some of his insights. If guys are listening and you haven't seen it, go and check out on the Lunchtime Series. Go and find it. It's on your podcast channels now. Just a spectacular conversation, and also just his insights and his point of view, so spot on and so resonant. Resonating in the times.
And exactly that, Kevin. But added to that, what I really appreciated about Graham is his ability to simplify and contextualize the concepts of what being a futurist is, and why it's important for businesses to anticipate disruption and actually understand what they actually need to know and be able to do now to operate effectively in today's ever-changing dynamic world. And it's not just about forward thinking and forward viewing. It really is about dealing with the dynamic of the changing world now. Really appreciate that.
But what I really appreciated in the conversation was he didn't skew away from saying the difficult thing.
Yes.
Even part of the, like he was saying that some of his clients might not like what he's about to say, and he might lose a few clients. But, kind of having the full-on approach on like, you need to hear this. This is important, right? Because we spoke about purpose, and he was like, people just don't live that. They don't live the purpose. And
I love that piece. Yes.
yeah, so I mean, beautiful, beautiful conversation, guys. So go check it out. He does share some nice insights about South Africa's future as well. So go and check
Yes.
that out. But Craig, with that, moving into the new month, we're back into our marketing segment for this month.
Yes, Kevin, thanks. We are.
What are we doing? What are we talking about?
So, Kevin, I want to cover. I started reading a series. I don't know where the hell I found the time, but I dived into a couple of book summaries, and one of them really jumped out at me. And it's a book summary that I want to cover for today's conversation. And the book is titled "Growth Hacker Marketing," and I know this is going to resonate so much with you. Definitely. The book was written by Ryan Holiday, who's an American marketer. He's an author, he's a businessman, and he's a podcaster. And Ryan was also the former director of marketing for American Apparel, who then he went on to become an advisor to an American Apparel is quite a successful American retail chain. So yeah, the concept of growth hacker marketing is what we're going to cover today, Kevin.
Growth. I can assume what that means, but you're gonna have to unpack that. Like, it sounds illegal to a degree.
Yeah. Yeah, hacking is the sort of the trigger to make you think it's illegal. Kevin, no. So according to a definition that I came across on the optimization glossary section of optimizely.com, which is a company that develops digital experience platforms, growth hacking, also known as growth marketing, is the use of resource light and cost-effective digital marketing tactics to help grow and retain an active user base, sell products, and gain exposure. Think hacking in terms of life hacks, those little shortcuts that make your life easier, rather than the nasty bits of code that can ruin your computer and your life, being the hack that I referenced initially. Growth hacking is most commonly associated with startups and small businesses, and this again is why I believe it'll have great relevance to you, or at least connect with you. Those organizations that don't have a huge amount of cash to spare but need results quickly. However, it's a scalable concept applicable to any online business looking to maintain the growth and retention of an active user base, Kevin.
Craig, just a side note, as you're saying that, that's what an unconscious bias is. It's your brain's way of hacking its way through information to try and find the shortest, quickest way to get to what it's understanding in real time. So I completely resonate and realize what you're saying now.
That's brilliant.
Interesting title. So what is the difference between growth hacking and traditional marketing?
Yeah, definitely the right question. So referencing the same optimization glossary, we note the following. Many people think of growth hacking and marketing as one and the same. However, there are subtle yet very important differences. Growth hacking is like marketing in that its ultimate aim is to ensure customer acquisition or to encourage more people to use a particular product or service. However, because of its origin within the startup community, it relies heavily on tactics that don't necessarily involve spending massive budgets, to which obviously larger, more established businesses have access to. And typically, growth hacking combines marketing optimization and developmental know-how to pull off automated marketing on a small budget. For example, automated notifications around emails, simple sign-up forms, sign-up-driven homepages, or streamlining onboarding for new customers, Kevin. But the content I'm going to share is directly from the summary version as published by Paul Miners, another interesting chap. I went and did some background research on Paul. He's a consultant that helps businesses to optimize their systems so that they can scale and grow. And interestingly, one of his core capabilities is actually to summarize books. So it's an incredible takeout of working with companies to optimize and simplify and get best of value. And he ends up doing that in summarizing books. And I think he's summarized about 30 books already, Kevin. So yeah, let's take a look at what the book summary tells us about growth hacker marketing.
Yeah.
So yeah, to open with, I just want to read a few lines of the first paragraph here, which talks about traditional marketing was all about who the customers are and where they are. Growth hackers take this further. They look at the who and where in a specific manner, in a way that is measurable. Important. That's what modern marketing is really focusing on. It becomes about the metrics and the return of investment, and that really is key. So out of the principles, there are 4 steps that Ryan talks about in the book. And the first one is he talks about product market fit. And you and I have touched on this concept very loosely in one or two of our conversations before. So this is really, what the single worst marketing decision you can make is. Starting with a product nobody wants or nobody needs. So the book describes traditional marketers as going to market with the product you have, not the one you want. And that's a really important point to note. This was more often than not met with failure and wastage of money and investment. So growth hackers have radically shifted away from this train of thought and actually now work hard to develop products that are perfectly created and primed to meet the needs and expectations of the target market. And it's about creating, again, to use the words, that perfect product to meet the needs, no matter how many iterations and changes you have to make or the time this will take. So again, fail fast, fail forward fast, and this iterative process, but defining what that perfect product is. And then when that is in place, go to market. So don't go to market with whatever you currently have until it's perfect. The target market needs to be defined. Have a group of people who have a compelling need and meet this need. And when you read it like that, it is really a simple proposition and a simple methodology to get your product to market. Ryan also explains that the traditional marketing doesn't return to the drawing board when the product isn't perceived as expected. And again, I just love this point immensely. They'll continue to put more time, effort, money, and energy into the product as it is, expecting a better response. The key here is to identify the customers, hone in on their specific needs, and then develop something that will actually meet all of their expectations, as opposed to trying to force fit into the different pillars of customer expectation. And there's a lovely quote here that says, the race hasn't changed. The prize and spoils no longer go to the person who makes it first to market. They go to the person who makes it to product market fit first. And that's really an important phrase there, Kevin.
But I mean, Craig, with that mentioned, it does, that's why people like you have work, because you you take people's potentially, you help people take that product and kind of go, okay, cool, I see what you're doing. How do we make sure that it does fit product market? Because if you're selling something that people don't need, and sometimes you're so caught up with the wonderful product that you've got and the thing that you've created, they kind of miss the boat, right?
And Kevin, very much so. And in many instances, that's really vanity product. Somebody's ideated, they visualized something, they got good budget behind it, they've created this thing, and it goes to market, and that thing appeals to them and one or two other, and that's it. And in many instances, it's a beautiful statement. It's like, I put a product to market. Well, that's a vanity product if it's not meeting needs.
Well,
Simple as that.
On that point, Apple, I saw a post recently in the news with Apple Car that was in production for the last 10 years has come to a grinding halt. And you kind of go, well, Apple, I know that you sell a lot, but you're moving from like technology into a whole car. Like that's a whole very different market for you. And they just stopped going forward with the Apple Car. So I'm like, it's interesting to see that even at that scale, they could make mistakes.
That's fascinating. I wasn't aware of that. I must go and investigate that. Gosh, I can't even visualize it at this particular point. But I want to read that last paragraph at least. Shout out one more time here. It says, the race has changed. The prize and spoils no longer go to the person who makes it to market first. They go to the person who makes it to product market fit first.
Yeah.
So then, with that understood, how do you actually find product market fit, Kevin? And there's a couple of really simple questions to ask yourself. And again, like the show 3 weeks ago, where the more you're asking yourself the difficult questions and the more you taking yourself through that point of unease, the better it is for you in the establishment of getting to the finite points. And here you really have to be open about honest feedback again, and accept that you might not actually get it right the first time. Ask yourself the following questions. Who is the product actually for? Why would they use it? And as the user, you, the developer, why do I use it? Then ask your customers the following questions. What is it that brought you to this product? Are you being held back from referring this product to others, and why? Really good point, that. And what's missing? And that's the beauty about this open source world that we live in, is you're able to ask questions like this, and particularly the what's missing piece, because we have instant feedback capability, and individuals can really start sharing their experience with the product, and the product manufacturer or designer can start incorporating that feedback in real time. And that's why that iterative process of product and service design is such an important piece.
Craig, but I mean, like, I just want to point out that the referring, are you being held back from referring this product to others? That is such a significant question to ask.
Yes.
Because I get a lot of referral business because of my work ethic and the way that I conduct what I do, and the expectation that I hold of myself when I'm doing what I do. And so referral business is so unbelievably important. So, the question is, if you do have a product and you ask your 10 closest friends or the 10 closest people to you if they would refer this, and if they wouldn't, you might have a problem.
Correct.
That's really important, yeah.
The crucial step after gathering this feedback, Kevin, is to actually do something about it. It's all well and good collecting data and going, okay, now I've got a clear idea, et cetera, but you really do need to go back to the drawing board, adapt the product, change the product, do whatever it is to meet the needs defined in that critical feedback from your customers. So do something about it. Very important.
Yeah.
Step 2, find your growth hack, targeting the right people. And here the author emphasizes the importance of testing a product until you're certain that it's meeting market requirements. Never market the product until you're absolutely ready. You're only setting yourself up for disappointment. And here Ryan makes it clear that it's not, and I really like this point again, is that it's not about telling the whole world about your product. It's about honing in on those selected people who you want to use and pay for your product. By being strategic and specific about who you target is much more likely to work than being broad and general in your approach in putting the product and message to market, Kevin. So a growth hacker's job is to pull in your customers, and to do that in a cheap, effective, and unique way. And again, critical to this point is that the right people are key to pull in. It's all well and good pulling in people, but you've got to pull in the right people. And Ryan talks about that you need to forget the traditional marketing way, attempting to reach everyone. For growth hackers, you have to resist that temptation. Instead, search for the early adopters, who are the people who are going to make or break emerging new tech services, and they're going to want to do it as cheaply as possible. And a few options for when you're looking to try and reach your internal audiences are noted as follows: 5 key points. Email the current sites that you know your potential users would frequent. See if they're willing to write about you, promote your product, tell a story about your product. Upload to sites like Reddit. Start writing a blog, most definitely, probably one of the most important. Write about the topics that are popular and will drive topics, at least visitors to your site. Use Kickstarter and invite people to use your service or product for free. And I think that's an important one, is particularly if it's a technology product and it's easy to utilize and get that real live feedback. When you're producing product and it needs to come off the shelf or out of the packaging and boxing, then it's a lot more expensive to be giving away for free. But get that trial in place, get the tangible tactile experience and feel, and take that into account. Do whatever it takes to pull in a small contingent of initial users from your particular space, Kevin.
Craig, but lending on some of the conversation we had in February, it plays into that agility, right?
Yes.
So, as a leader, as the owner of the business, as, someone who's at the forefront of what's happening in your environment, uh, testing it and targeting the right people is part of that agility and the ability to kind of go, is this working? And if it's not working, how quickly can I adjust? And how quickly can I alternate or change it up to kind of meet exactly the right people and speak to exactly who I want to? And the more you hone that skill, the more essentially you're going to get from whatever you're putting out there.
And Kevin, you know, it's really important when you've got a product or a service that works across various segments, you know, demographic, income types, and things like that. You know, a product that works across different segments is meeting different needs for each one of those segments. And it's applying the same strict rigor and principle to understand the needs in every one of those segments, because actually you could be getting feedback at one end which just is telling you the product is absolutely useless, and you're getting feedback at the other end which is telling you that this is the best product that the market needs in that space. So it's really being able to work through the value chain and ensure that you clearly understand the different needs and the different in their respective different life stages of product use as well, and be able to articulate the product to meet those needs across the various segment profiles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Given step 3 here, lovely title, turning 1 into 2 and 2 into 4, going viral. So we know in today's day and age, everyone's obsessed with the idea of going viral. You know, we'd love some of our shows to go viral. But what the author Ryan explains here is that going viral is actually simpler than many think. And you really ask yourself 3 questions. Why should customers share your product? If you can answer that, then you position your product in the right place. There's no reason why it can't go viral.
Yeah.
Have we actually made it easy for them to spread your product or word about your product? Is the product worth talking about? And probably the most important one there, is the product worth talking about? And in this instance, talking about in a positive sense, based on user engagement and the willingness to share and go viral from a positive sense. And yeah, too many people actually assume that going viral is an act of magic and something that just happens, but really it's never an accident, Kevin. There are few things that come to play when a product goes viral. And it's only ever going to happen to a very specific type of product or service. And it therefore has to be worth spreading, and it has to make people want to spread it. And, you know, as we were chatting early on in the show, in fact, before we started the show, we're just talking about one of the key aspects of key successes of the project that I'm working on is the ability to leverage influencers in such a defined and structured way. They resonate with the product. They resonate with the positioning of what this project's about. And there's a clear articulated plan of action to work with those influencers to get that message out there. And it's providing and producing incredible results and feedback mechanisms. It really is. So virtually, listen to me, virality at its core is asking someone to spend their social capital recommending or linking or posting about you for free. And that's a lovely statement.
Yeah.
Spending their social capital, recommending or linking or posting about you for free. And the best way to get your people to do this favor for you, make it seem like it isn't a favor. Make it worth their while at the same time. Because remember, you know, expecting people to do stuff for free can be a big ask. And there are other ways to compensate, you know, rewards, vouchers, gifting, and things like that. But definitely, yeah, if you can get them to go viral for you and then reward the pass on opportunity of you know, expanding the concentric rings as the virality gets further and further, referral programs really have great value in that regard, Kevin.
Yeah, I think it is you know, that statement is, what was it, Craig? Just remind me now.
Virality at its core is asking someone to spend their social capital recommending or linking or posting about you for free.
And I think that social capital is an important factor, because essentially, you know, when we break it down into, you know, the one thing that we all want more of is time, right?
Yes.
So if I'm taking the time, my time, out of my free will, want to post something or reshare something about someone, right? I believe it's worth someone else seeing it, right? So it's tapping into that narrative and kind of going, is it, like, because you could really start scrutinizing it to that degree, going, is this reshareable? Are people really wanting to know this information?
Yeah.
To that degree.
Then the flip side of that is social capital equals financial capital in many instances as well, because some of the influencers really have just such powerful social capital that they're able to demand a fair, monetary value for being able to pass on the ability to share your product, service, or experience to their network.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, as I said, make it worth their while and put in a referral program, Kevin. Step 4 here is closing the loop, and this is about retention and optimization. And that optimization is an iterative process. So let's have a look at what it tells us about that. So again, the job of a traditional marketer is to bring in the customers, but that's where it ends, actually. It's someone else's job to get them to stick around and keep them interested in the business. And this again is a very interesting conversation I have with sales and marketing departments, where sales are always going, but marketing hasn't enabled this, or marketing hasn't done what they need to do. And I'm going, guys, marketing is the sales enabler. Sales does the sell. Okay, so when marketing is filling your pipeline of leads, what are you actually doing about it? Because for them, in essence, they've done the upfront bit. It's your ability to be able to make sure that that interested lead sticks around and eventually is converted, going from interest to convert. And traditional sales and marketing teams always have this barrage, and it's about integrating to ensure that there's the smooth transition, and that whatever happens in the pipeline, those leads don't fall off there. And what Ryan does here is he actually talks around the case of small businesses and startups where there might not be that next person in the value chain to actually take on that lead, nurture the relationship, and work through the value chain to see how that lead becomes a conversion downstream. So the job really of a marketer should be to find customers and create lifelong users. But there's little point in wasting all of your energy and money in bringing in one customer at a time, as the cycle will never be ending. It's about going back to the points we made earlier in the article, really understanding who the key target audience is and being able to put the effective efforts, energy, and investment into bring them in, and then making sure that you don't lose them out of the pipeline. Always be tweaking those iterative little processes. You need to make your users stick. And there's no point driving heaps of traffic if the traffic doesn't convert. Growth comes just as much from internal optimizing as it does from lead generation. And that's really an important point, because you can be successful in honing on that small, responsive, high value opportunity if you retargeting and working with them in the right way and ensuring that you are meeting their needs. You don't need 10 million leads to come in to convert 100,000. You could get 50 leads and convert 2, and you'd have the same ROI or value coming through into your business.
Yeah, and I think that just that one line, if it's not converting, like, there's no point in driving heaps of traffic there.
Yeah, there we go.
Like, so there has to be at the core, at the essential of, why am I doing this? Like, what is the point? Is there something converting? And it needs to speak.
And again, is the message right or wrong? Is the product need met or not? And are you talking to the audience in the right way, in the right place, and through the right channels and technologies and things like that? So that's not a 2-minute decision. That really is around why marketing departments have media partners and agencies and big digital machines working behind it, because you need to invest in the capabilities to ensure that you are filtering through to get to that finite audience and really start working and honing on that. So Kevin, some of the takeaways here is that, again, talking about technologies and focusing, growth hackers focus on metrics and ROI. It's not a science. Sorry, it is a science. It's no longer the guessing game. So you have to define your target market, and you have to clearly establish what their needs are. Then find product market fit to those needs. Get feedback, adapt and change your services or product based on this feedback and keep working it, the iterative process, until it is perfect. Never go to market with a product or service that isn't ready. You hear so many stories about build the plane while it's flying. Well, in a business, you might have the opportunity to do that, but the product and service that the business is delivering has to be resolute, defined, and finished, because the end user expects that. It's not about marketing the product to as many people as possible. It's about finding that right group of people and targeting only them. Minimize the wastage of marketing and media spend. If you want to go viral, make it easy for people to share. Make it easy for people to share. They have to be motivated to share your product, and give them the reasons to share it. And the key here is customer retention. Don't waste all your efforts simply on getting a customer. Dedicate time to keeping them. And again, this talks to the evolution of a product in the customer's life cycle as well, because their needs may change over time. How does your product and service iterative development meet those needs moving forward, Kevin? If you're developing a product, ask yourself who the product is for, why do they want it, what are they going to do with it, and then try and define the audience early on to meet that. Take the feedback in, take as much criticism as necessary, but act on it. It takes time to develop a product or service, and you won't get it perfect the first time round, and that's acceptable. All businesses know that. But research some of your favorite companies, try and get to understand how they actually got their products off the ground, what were their marketing strategies and tactics, some of the budget that they deployed, some of the channels that they've used. And then, yeah, when you've got that in place, speculate and try some of those practices, Kevin.
Fantastic, Craig. Thank you. Yes, guys, if you want to find out more about this information, it's called Growth Hacker Marketing by Ryan Holiday. It's a book summary by Paul Miners. And Craig, I'm sure you're going to be sharing some more book summaries with us, right?
Yeah, there's some really great ones, particularly in this marketing space, content space, and things like that. It's just really wonderful. And Paul has done a good job in just bringing the essence of the book out in these very clear, easy to understand and adopt concepts here, Kevin.
Yeah, I love that. So just to reiterate, in the next month, well, in the month of March, we're going to be doing more about marketing, guys. So Craig, and we're obviously going to follow on this. This is going to be, going from this kind of conversation leading on to the next one.
Yes, and then and try and get one more. Try and end the month with another guest, but a guest talking into the space of marketing and communications.
Fantastic. The QOT, what I've done with the quote of the day is I've started seeing if I'm going to match up with what it is you're sharing. So I don't know if it's matching. But a man paints with his brains and not with his hands. Guess, Craig, who's this from?
That I would say would be Picasso.
Michelangelo.
Michelangelo. Okay, earlier iteration. Yeah, yes. There we go.
Please remember to like and share, and tune into Lifestyle Shares every week, Wednesday and Thursday, for more, guys. From myself and Craig, have a fantastic week, and we will chat to you soon. Thanks, Craig.
Thanks, Kevin. Look forward to next week's chat.
Cheers.